Hey guys, welcome to the channel. So this is my third video of the Bgmi testing series. I have already tested the iPhone 12 Pro Max, the OnePlus 9 and now the iPhone SE. So does this phone really live up to its expectation of being one of the cheapest Apple devices out there with one of the latest processors as well? So this one has an A13 Bionic with a 3 GB of RAM, and it is basically the same phone as what Apple released with the iPhone 7 at least about 5 years ago. So the processor is about 2 years old, the A13 Bionic. The A14 Bionic launched with the iPhone 12 series, and with the 13 we will see the A15 probably. The design is pretty simple. It has got a single camera setup at the back, which is a 12 megapixel. It can do portraits, so that's a plus point. It has got dual firing speakers, bottom firing as well as front. The screen is where the problem starts, because at this price point the Android has really good screens to offer. So we're looking at an IPS LCD with a 625 nits of total brightness at 4.7 inches and a 326 ppi density. Before we get into the video, do subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon and don't forget to like the video. It really helps the channel grow. Now quickly, let's get into Bgmi, see whether the phone is really capable of handling how the game is, how the screens are, what is the graphics like, what are the speakers like, and does it heat? Also, how much battery does it drain? The entire login process has been fast forwarded, which takes us directly into the game. The first thing which I want to check is whether this phone really runs Ultra HD content, because the screen doesn't support it. It is a sub 1080p display, which is basically the same thing which we have on the iPhone 11 as well. The 12 then changed to a slightly better display, which is at least close to what we get at 1440p, not exactly there. And as I head down into the settings part, we do see an Ultra HD option. The UHD is still not there, but the Ultra HD is there and we can always download that. So I'm going to download all the resources required for the Ultra HD, and this will be just a second for you. You can even have Ultra HD sounds to go with it, so in the downloads you'll be able to see that option. But frankly, on this phone, at least on the iPhone SE, you do not get Ultra HD content, though it did say that it is Ultra HD, but it's not. So you might want to reduce it slightly to say an HD or something, but then you do compromise on the graphics. The Ultra HD will give you really good graphics. So before we start the game, let's head down to the battery and see what is the battery life currently, at what percentage, and what the game is doing. So my peak performance is at 92%, which is good. The current battery life is at 95%, and you can see Battlegrounds Mobile India has not been used more than a minute. So this is going to be a good fair test. Whatever the gameplay I'm doing, how much ever I'm using this phone right now, at the end of the video we will again see the difference in the battery life. Next, let's look at the speakers, and I'm going to keep quiet so that you can hear them. So the speakers are pretty loud, but when you use it in the gaming position or you hold it in a landscape position, the speakers do get blocked, but they are pretty loud. If you put a cover on it, it's not going to matter, and I assume that most of us are going to put a cover on this phone because it is very slippery and also a fingerprint magnet. Finally, checking the settings once, so we have Ultra HD and Ultra frame rate as well. And now let's get into the game. So while the game loads, the screen is really good, the viewing angles are good, but I do see a lot of pixels on the screen because I am using other devices which have got higher resolution. So to be sure that if you're coming from a high resolution display, maybe a 1080p upwards, which is a very big possibility if you're coming from the Android world, then you need to make sure that this device is good for you. Go and check it out physically in a store maybe and see it before you get it. Apart from that, the colors are really good. They are very bright, very vibrant. The display gets ultra bright. The phone is very good, and you can always switch the colors under settings, make it maybe colorful or whatever you would want. So I'm going to fast forward this part so that we can directly go into the jump sequence. And before we do that, let's just quickly look at the graphic settings once. So we are at Ultra HD, ultra frame rate, and as I said, you can choose colorful if you want, but right now obviously it won't apply. You'll have to shut the game and restart it for it to get applied. If you want to look at the jump sequence, you can always slow it down in YouTube settings. So now since the jump is through, so frankly, giving it out there, this phone feels a little small. My daily driver is an iPhone 12 Pro Max, and I have been playing this game on that very regularly. So it will take time for you to adjust to the small screen if you're coming from a large phone. If you're coming from, say, the iPhone 6 series or the 7 series, you should not have a problem at all, or even the 8, you should not have a problem. So bigger screen, definitely you will take time to get used to it. The bezels are really large, but I frankly don't mind them, because if you are watching a video or something, or maybe on YouTube or something, this screen is a 16:9, so you get the entire content on the screen. But yes, while you're playing games or looking at something else, you do find these bezels interfering. They could have been bigger. Hopefully the next iPhone SE might have the design of, say, the iPhone mini, which we've been hearing, maybe. So let's see. Apart from that, once you get used to it, the phone is very fast. As you can see, there is no lag as such. It's perfectly fine, very fluid in its operation, and currently at least I'm not feeling anything. Now, talking about the phone heating up, and obviously if you're playing such a high game on a very high resolution, though the screen doesn't support it, the processor is giving you the power and the graphics are really good, so it is pushing a lot of graphics at this point of time. The phone is bound to heat a little bit, so I am feeling a little bit of warmth at the back of the phone, but nothing great as such. And at such a short interval, we will not even see it. But I have played this game before on this phone, and the phone does heat up a little bit, but if you use a cover, you should be fine. The iPhone 12 Pro Max, on the other hand, also heats up. It is a standard thing, but there is nothing to worry as such. This phone is very capable. I hope the video till here has given you a good idea of how the phone is and whether it is really worth it, because I really feel that gaming on a device really gets the best out of the phone, and you can see whether the device is capable or not. Now, there is going to be some gameplay, so I'm going to fast forward it. If you want to see it, you can always slow the video down, as I said earlier. And I hope you like the gameplay. We are almost at the end of the video now. and the phone is heating a little bit here and there, but nothing to worry. As I said, let's talk about the battery life and the charging. So the phone does come with a decent battery life, though on paper we are looking at a 1821 mAh battery, which is very small compared to say the iPhone 12, which is a 2815 mAh battery. But it does come with 18-watt fast charging. It supports it at least, and it supports key wireless charging as well. So it will give you 50% battery life in 30 minutes with the wired charging. Now, while we are talking about this, let's also look at what damage it has done to the battery. So we played the game for roughly around 16 minutes, and at least the game was on for that much. And we're looking at a percentage battery drop of around 12%. I get a good idea of how much battery is going to drain in say an hour's time. So we are looking at almost say roughly around 40-50% of battery going down if you play this game for an hour on these settings. So that's something to note. And I conclude this review by saying that this is an amazing phone at a really good price point. Obviously, in the next 1 month's time, we are looking at the iPhone 13 series coming out. So be sure of this phone if you're going to go ahead and buy it. Right now, it is extremely powerful. Let me know down in the comment section if you have any queries. And as usual, thanks for watching.